All right, cool. Well, is everyone here for Whiteboard? If you're here for English 101, you're in the wrong room. I know. So we got our English teacher here, so I know that the English 101's not happening. All right. Teams meeting collaboration using Microsoft Whiteboard templates. Sounds like a cool title. I made it up. I'm Jonathan Weaver. I'm a Teams MVP. And we have guest starring Sherry Oswald. She's also an MVP and an MCT. She has more letters than me. And MSOM. Yeah, see, all those other letters. All right, so before we get too far into this, we want to make sure we thank our sponsors. I understand that the sponsor area has closed, so hopefully you have already gone and seen all the sponsors, gotten all the swag, like this cool ring light got from somebody. Lenovo, I think. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but without the sponsors, none of this would be possible. They pay for the space and the speaker, like the keynotes to come in, and they make the lunch be free instead of us having to pay for a box lunch or go up to the restaurant, spend the entire grocery budget for the month. All right, so who am I? I'm me. I'm Jonathan Weaver. I'm a Power Platform developer by day, whiteboard enthusiast by night. That sounded weird. I'm a Teams MVP. I'm a SharePoint consultant. I'm the logic workflow guy. I do forms, business processes, Power Automates, Rubik's Cubes, jigsaw puzzles, Sudoku, all that stuff. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me.
Don't bother.
Yeah, I mean, that's more realistic. Follow me on Twitter. I could use the numbers. Now that I'm an MVP, I need to catch up to the other MVPs. I will not spam you. I swear. I post maybe in between the two Twitter handles, I post like 12 times a year, and 11 of those are at conferences, and one of them might be at a NASCAR race. And then there's my blog. Also, I don't blog nearly as much as I should, so you won't get spammed. But please, I would love to be able to put on my MVP renewal that my reach has increased on my blogs. That'd be great, because 5 doesn't look as good as 10. I can put doubled my reach on my blogs.
It's all relative.
Absolutely.
You can make statistics say anything you want them to. All right, so Jonathan asked me to jump in and help him this afternoon. I'm Sherry Oswald. I am a recently minted MVP in the SharePoint space, but I also have an MCT, Microsoft Office Specialist Master, and I'm a Microsoft Certified Trainer Regional Lead, which is a big, long thing. But they simply call me Shortcut Sherry. So feel free to reach out to me, social media. You know, hardest thing to remember is how to spell my name, which is S-H-A-R-I. And even my grandfather misspelled my name most of my life. So feel free to touch base with me. And just like Jonathan, usually my tweets happen at events. I don't tweet normally on a daily basis, or I retweet other people's stuff. My blog has been, you know, the cobbler's children's feet go bare. I need to pay more attention to that again this year, do some more tips and tricks. But yeah, you'll see more activity around that, but I definitely will not bombard you either. So.
Cool.
I'm going to sit and let him take the stage.
All right. So you might notice I'm not PowerPointing you to death. They asked me if I need the clicker, and I said, I'm teaching Whiteboard, not PowerPoint. So all of the PowerPoint slides that I made in PowerPoint and then snagged out of PowerPoint and dumped into Whiteboard are in Whiteboard. So this is a fully immersive session. We are using Whiteboard, using our own dog food, eating our own dog food, whatever. You know what I mean.
Drinking your own champagne.
Yeah, drinking our own. That's so much better than dog food. I don't know where the dog food thing came from, but champagne's way better. All right, so, don't move. Introducing Microsoft Whiteboard. What is Microsoft Whiteboard? First of all, how many of you have actually used Microsoft Whiteboard at least once? Excellent. So some of the early stuff might be fast. We'll go through it a lot faster. So Microsoft Whiteboard, for the one person who didn't raise their hand, is a free-form digital canvas. And when I say a free-form and digital, I mean you can write on it and do things with it. And it's digital, not analog. I do have 2 analog whiteboards in my backpack, though. so with a marker, so I can actually write on it if I need to. But the canvas piece is amazing. How many of you have ever been writing on a whiteboard on a wall and you get to the edge and you can't write anymore without getting people upset that they have to repaint the walls? And then you go back over to the left side, to usually the left side, and you erase something that you've done earlier so that you can keep going, right? With the Microsoft Whiteboard, the canvas is unlimited. Unlimited. I haven't found the limit of it yet. I'm sure at some point there is some limit somewhere. But I got bored of drawing a straight line all the way over. Collaboration and sharing. So we've all used a whiteboard at some point in our careers. You use it to draw, to ideate, to make decisions, to talk about things, to explain things. But usually it's one person standing in front of a whiteboard with a marker. And if you're collaborating, you might get a couple people with a marker, or you're handing the marker back and forth. Or maybe, and this is kind of a foreshadowing, maybe someone has handed out piles of sticky notes and pens and said, write on these sticky notes and then bring them up to the whiteboard and stick them on the whiteboard. So now we all got sent home. We're IT people. We don't need an office. And when we had the whole pandemic, everyone got sent home. And it's really hard to run into the office to put sticky notes on a wall and then run back to your home office, right? Makes the meeting last way longer. So introduce Microsoft Whiteboard. And now you can do the same whiteboarding, but at home. All right, how do we get to Microsoft Whiteboard? It's really easy. Microsoft has this really weird naming convention that is application.microsoft.com. It's real hard to remember, I understand. So this one is whiteboard.office.com. All right, got it? There's a quiz at the end. I will ask you what the name of the application is, and you'll tell me whiteboard.
Is it better to go to whiteboard.office.com or add a whiteboard to an existing meeting?
That is an excellent question. So this is how Copilot says you should get to Whiteboard. But as Tiffany pointed out, there's also an app. So there's a desktop app. It even says in there, you can get to it from Windows 10, Windows 11, and iOS. There's an iOS app. There is a Windows app. So you can just simply go to your start button and type Whiteboard, and you get the desktop app. You can go to whiteboard.office.com and get the web version. They are supposedly feature parity. For those of you listening to the video afterwards, I'm doing the air quotes around parity. And then in addition, because you have both of those options, when you go into a Teams meeting, and we'll get to Teams in a little bit, but when you go into a Teams meeting and you click share, and you have, do I want to share the screen? Do I want to share an application? Do I want to share PowerPoint? Right there, you'll also have the whiteboard option, assuming that it's enabled for your tenant and all that. There's no additional license. If you've got Office, you've got Whiteboard. So it should, if IT has enabled it, then it should show up right there. No additional licensing. No additional licensing is also the reason that I made my own swag. So, on the lines of swag, I do have the elusive whiteboard stickers. I'm down to like 10. So, if you want one, you need to be one of the first ones to grab one from up here.
You get the quiz right at the end, so that wasn't in your application.
Yes.
I want Harry Plopper stickers.
Okay, I haven't made any Harry Plopper stickers because I have not met Harry Plopper, but hold that thought and I'll fix it for you in a little bit. Okay, the other way to get to it is through the waffle. So everyone knows what the waffle is, right? The 9 little square box thing, the app launcher. You click that, it will most likely not show up in your top little list because that's all the important apps, and Whiteboard is kind of like the stepchild app. So you have to click all apps, and then you have to scroll down to W. That's where Whiteboard is. So that's another way to get to it. Microsoft always gives us at least 3 ways to get to everything. So, okay, moving on. All right, so this is the slide, the one slide. I only have one slide for all the basic stuff. So most of y'all have used Whiteboard, so we're going to run through it real quickly. Down here at the bottom, you've got your toolbar. Up at the top right, you have everything else. Cool? Done? Next slide. Oh, and I didn't bring my pen in with me. Dang it. Okay, so some of the cool basics, you've got the pen at the bottom. You've got a little pointer thing. I love the laser pointer. So you can do freehand drawing. You have shape recognition when it's working. It was working really well on Wednesday when I prepped the session for Friday at Salt Lake City. And then when I was demoing, I was like, watch this. It does this cool thing. And it didn't do the cool thing. It also has a lasso tool, which is really cool. And you can insert images from your device, from the web, and then you can draw on them independently. And then once you've drawn on them, the drawing stays with the image when you move the image around on the screen, which is amazing for things like we're doing a website redesign or we're doing an app UI redesign. You pull your screens in from your app and then you can draw on them. And then that, as you move, if you like move the screens around, the drawing stays with them. So freehand drawing, and of course I forgot my pen. So what happened, I was super excited about the loop session right before this, and then I had to run and talk to people before the session, and so, you know, ADD, woo.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Everything is awesome. All right, we need to get rid of this. Okay. Oop, nope, too far. 100%. Also, what I'm doing there, when you see that auto zoom, I'm double clicking on my mouse button, and it zooms. If you do it enough times, it'll get back to 100%. Sometimes it zooms in, sometimes it zooms out, but after enough clicks, it goes to 100%. So, okay. So freehand drawing. I grab a pen and I can freehand draw. And you can do other stuff too. So over here on the gear, you see at the top right, the gear, this enhanced ink shapes. This is the thing that's not working right now. But
It did your O already. Yeah, changed your O.
it did not work an hour and a half ago. So this is really cool. So when you do like a square or rectangle, so Sherry was at my session in Salt Lake City, and I said, watch this, it's really cool. You can make a square, and it doesn't do anything.
Shocker!
So you do a triangle, you do the circle, and it's pretty good about, like, I mean, it'll fix things. No.
No, that didn't start.
No. Oh, well, let's try it without the, let's see if it'll fix it without the inside lines. No, it doesn't know what that is. But it does the other shapes. I think those are pretty cool. And those are great for when you're doing like diagramming and you're doing, think Visio type things on the whiteboard. How many of us have done Visio on the whiteboard before? How many of you have done Visio type thing, the diagramming in Word? You can do it, but don't try to move things around.
You can also paste the Visio shape on Visio in the whiteboard and then draw around it. So
Right.
you want your icons to be over here.
Yep. So you can do it here. In addition, you'll notice down here at the bottom, we've also got shapes. So I prefer to draw the shapes because when we do these shapes, the auto shapes, which you can do and you can make Visio type stuff with them, it gives me one of these with the type inside and all of that. And then I have to go back and fix it because I just wanted it to be an empty box or I wanted to be able to write on it. But that's definitely, I mean, there's definitely use cases for this as well. And then the little arrows, you can do arrows pointing like in Visio.
Shortcut Sherry Trip, if you hold the shift key down, it will change it proportionally. It'll
Right.
resize things, otherwise it'll distort it
You're talking about doing this. Oops.
from the corners.
I'm trying to do it with the trackpad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise
that's
it
with the
may
shift
distort
key.
it.
That's without the shift. So yeah, without the shift key, you can do any of them. With the shift key, it keeps the aspect ratio. Yeah, yeah.
By the way, that works in all Office products. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of them.
Okay, so I did tell you that you can pull in an image. So we'll do it right down here. You can pull in an image from here, and because we're focusing on templates, I'm not going to go through all of this stuff like documents. That's pretty cool. We will get to loop components. So images, you can upload an image from your desktop, or you can go to Bing Images. And someone give me an example of a four-legged animal that you can ride with a saddle.
Capybara. What horse?
Oh, a horse. Great answer. Great answer. Let's look for a horse. Oh, let's look for a white horse. I mean, that tan horse is kind of pretty, but... All right, a white horse. That was a great idea. Here we go. What do you think? That one? Yeah, we like that one. Insert. So I told you that you can draw on the images. So that's what we'll do. So we've got this beautiful white horse. This would work so much better with my pen. So we're going to draw some glasses on him. You know, because, I mean, that's what we do with pictures, right? We draw glasses on them. Oh, those glasses are really round. Those look kind of like Harry Potter glasses. Let's put a little lightning bolt, and we'll call him hashtag Horsey Potter, not Harry Plopper. Now, you might notice my O's keep turning into circles or ovals. Right. Oh, I left out the S. Oops.
That's a whole different.
I was too focused on that stupid O. So, let this be a lesson to you. If you are doing a lot of writing, make sure your enhanced ink shapes is turned off so that you can get O's. In addition, if you catch it in time, you can just Control Z. So when I create the O and it changes it, I can Control Z and it'll give it back to me. And a lot of apps do things like that. A lot of the Microsoft apps. All right, so I can't have a whiteboard session without Horsey Potter showing up. All right, so back to, let's see if we can make it 100%. Double click, there's 100%. All right, so brainstorming and ideation. This is really what Whiteboard was created for, brainstorming and ideation. I mean, that's what the wall whiteboard was for too. So the three big pieces to this are capturing and organizing ideas, collaborating in real time, and then we'll have some best practices for using the whiteboard. Oh, hang on, Dave. Hang on.
Looking for in that Horsey part.
Hang on.
Horsey Potter.
Yes.
When you show up late, you have no idea what the reference is. I'll get you the clips then.
Did you share? You shared little.
Yeah, we'll get you the Cliff Notes later. Okay, so capturing and organizing ideas, that's what the rest of this session is going to be about. So I'm going to kind of gloss over that. Collaborating in real time. Guest access is enabled guest access, as in when Whiteboard first came out, you had to be on the same tenant to be able to interact with the Whiteboard. Now you just have to have a Microsoft license to be able to interact. So if you're having a Teams meeting with clients who are on other tenants, and you share the whiteboard in the meeting, they will be able to join you, and they'll be able to write with you on the whiteboard. They'll be able to add their sticky notes and all the same stuff. When you're doing that, there's a couple of real quick functions I'll tell you about. One, there's that follow me at the top right. It kind of has the red, or it's next to the little purple dot. That's my initials. The follow me is when you've got a big board and you're like, all right, everyone go put your stuff down. Now come back to where I'm at, and we're going to talk about this thing. So you can click the follow me button. Everyone gets a question. Do you want to go? They asked you to follow them. Do you want to go? So they just know that it does not force everybody back. They do have to click the yes. And then they can unfollow as well. Also, if you have collaborative cursors turned on, then you can see where they're highlighting, like in PowerPoint, like in Excel, like in all the other apps. OneNote has these. Same concept, and you can see the authors as well here. Back to 100. All right, best practices for using Whiteboard. These are the same best practices as using an analog whiteboard or having a Teams meeting or having any meeting. Make sure everyone knows what the purpose is. What did they say? Set time limits, encourage participation, select the most promising ideas for further development. Obviously, that's the whole purpose of the meeting. But what I'm going to tell you is the number one most important part of your whiteboard is the title at the top left. Make sure your whiteboard has a title. Otherwise, you end up looking at your home and all your whiteboards, and you have whiteboard 1, whiteboard 2, whiteboard 3, whiteboard 4, whiteboard 5, and they don't always show you content. So it's not like they show the title screen like a PowerPoint. It might be just a blank little thumbnail, and so you have to then go click on it, which now has edited the whiteboard, brings it back to the beginning and shows that it's been edited, just to see if that's the whiteboard you're looking for. Similar to when you save your Teams meeting recordings, right? Same concept. All right, I gotta speed through this because I'm burning time. Wait, we started at 15, right? So we've got till 15. Oh, good. We have till 3:15, right? 3:30? Nope, 3:15. It's an hour, 2:15 to 3:15. In my head, it was top of the hour, and I'm like, we got 20 minutes left. No. Okay, so yeah, name your meet. Definitely name your. I'd say the same thing in a Power Automate session. The most important part of a Power Automate flow is the title. All right, so sticky notes. So we talked earlier about everyone, handing out sticky notes, and I saw a lot of you smile and nod like, yep, been there. So Whiteboard, Microsoft was like, we understand that a big part of whiteboarding is the sticky note thing. But how many of you have been in a room with like 20 people and they say, all right, you've written on your sticky notes, now bring them up here and stick them in the right place, and you're all crowding like you're trying to get an autograph from a Microsoft CVP or something. And so you're all crowding in trying to stick sticky notes over. Now you got your arms strapped around somebody else's head, and yeah, it's just not that fun. But I can sit in my home office, put sticky notes wherever I want to on this. And the purpose for sticky notes are for capturing ideas, organizing thoughts, and collaborating. So here's how Microsoft came up with sticky notes. Right down here at the bottom, add sticky note or note grid. So we can add individual sticky notes of all the different colors, and then we can write in them note 1. Note 2. Inside of an individual sticky note, you can edit it, write on it more. You can change the color. You can change the text. You can bold it. You can add little comments, so you can actually discuss the sticky note outside of the sticky note, but still attached to the sticky note. And this little thing should look familiar to anyone who's used Power Automate, or I want to say OneNote. I want to say like 8 or 10 different apps have this little tool in it.
Do you add mention?
Oh, I don't even know who to mention in this environment. Is Dan in here? Nope. They might. It's a good question. I haven't tried that either. I love, so there's also like the normal stuff, delete, edit, duplicate, alt text. Alt text is great for if you have any visually impaired people that use the special software that will read the alt text to them about the different sticky notes. Bring to front, send to back, lock. Lock sticks it to that piece of the whiteboard, and it can never be moved from the whiteboard until you unlock it. So you can move the whiteboard around, you can do anything else around it, but it's stuck right there. Kind of like that one person who wrote with the Sharpie on the whiteboard, and that's now stuck. Same concept. And then the really my favorite part of sticky notes is this right here. You can put the emotions on it. So you can do voting with this, likes and hearts and laughs and frowny faces. If you don't want to, if you haven't figured out that there's loop components yet, you can vote this way. You can also then, just kind of shove that up a little bit, add, if you know you're going to do a bunch of sticky notes, you can just start out with a whole grid of them. Let's see if I can move that. Okay, well that's where it wants to be. And then, I did not. No, I'm on a Surface with a trackpad and, don't have my pen. But then again, same thing, it's just a pre-compiled pile of stickers, of sticky notes that have all the same functionalities. You need another one, you just click Add Note. And then you can also, here you can add a title to it. So that's the difference, set of notes. You can still do all the same stuff, change the colors, all the normal menus. So, cool.
Save it as a template? So could you have like a mural board, right, where you have everything already on the board and you can just share the template?
Yes, you can. And we will get to that in one more slide. One more image on the whiteboard that's not a PowerPoint. All right, any other sticky notes questions specifically? I know this is not like the most technical, educational thing. It's a whiteboard, I understand. So, Copilot. Anyone ever heard of Copilot before? Today? So this is how you get to Copilot for Whiteboard for the documentation, which looks like this. And it'll tell you all about how wonderful Copilot for Whiteboard is. And I will tell you, Copilot for Whiteboard has grown on me since it started. At first, I was like, okay, Copilot for Whiteboard is literally just giving me some sticky notes that they pre-populated. And then I understood the other two parts of Copilot. So let's play with Copilot for a moment. And we're going to do something, we're going to suggest some ideas. So how about something weird like, what are the key features of Microsoft Whiteboard that Jonathan should tell us about, but he didn't because this is only a 1-hour session. I didn't type all that. So, and it gives me 6 sticky notes, and I can either insert them, I can generate more, I can edit the prompt. I'm going to generate more just because I want more. 6 is good, but 12 is better. It's like twice as many. All right, so I got 12. We're going to insert them. And so you'll notice it just gives me a pile of sticky notes. Well, that's great. They're pre-filled with ideas to start with. Now we can do all the stuff we just talked about with sticky notes, right? But let's go to the next step in Copilot. Let's categorize these sticky notes. Oh, yeah, yes. That's like the "Are you sure" button. Generating. Oh, look at that. These yellow ones are collaboration. The peach ones are tools. The green one is integration, and the purple ones are customization. That's pretty cool. So if you get the team together and you start sticking sticky notes on, then Copilot, you ask Copilot to analyze them, and it'll do its best. And if you say, you know what, that's not what I meant. You didn't quite get what I was thinking. You just click regenerate. And it goes, oh, okay. Well, these 3 are real-time collaboration. These 2 are intelligent ink. We got templates and backgrounds, multi-device access, and other. Kind of like the first one. So we're going to revert back to the first one. Oh, no, we're going to revert all the way back to the beginning. Let's categorize those one more time. See if it gives us the first one. It was better. Are you sure? Did you really want to do that? All right, so assuming we like that, then we just click keep it. And now we're out of Copilot. Okay? So the next thing that we do after that, because, oh no, we're out of time, we got to run. Well, the nice thing is we're not going to erase the whiteboard. Nobody has to take a picture of the whiteboard and email it to the team to now we have 12 copies of the picture of the whiteboard. We can export it as a picture, but everyone still has access to the whiteboard after the meeting. But because we really want to know, let's go this direction, come on. We really want to know what was summarized. We want a summary of all of those sticky notes. So let's ask Copilot to summarize the notes. So if you were in the loop session, this might look familiar. Do, 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 do. So this is a loop component with meeting notes, basically. It says there were 14 ideas generated, because it grabbed my other sticky notes. And the main themes of the whiteboarding session were real-time collaboration, ink features, templates and canvas, and tools and accessories. And whatever's down below that. And then there's also a picture of the whole entire whiteboard and a link to get back to the whiteboard. That's pretty cool. And now, if you go out to your Loop app, you should find this. Right? Cool. Integration. We're integrating into the other apps. So we'll keep it. All right. Cool. Good. Any questions about the Copilot side of that? Also, let's see if we can move this. Oh, it's moving. It's just really slow. Oh, it's stuck to my cursor now. Cool. Anyone here been happy with the Wi-Fi? I'm currently tethered to my phone, so. All right. So that brings us to the topic of the entire session title and everything. Templates. So I'm going to hand it off and let Sherry talk about templates.
How many of you like to reinvent the wheel? There's never a hand when I ask that question. Like, and Taurus, really? Are you just snarky like me? Yeah. My first language is sarcasm. So. All right. So templates. Now there is a desktop version of Whiteboard if you're not familiar with that. And it's a little bit more robust, just like any of the other applications. You've got the web version, you've got the desktop version, and they do synchronize, but they're investing more in the web-based versions of things, I think, and bringing them to feature parity, in theory. But the templates are a great way to add some standardization for your work. And some of the main things that we used to do with the whiteboard, like the analog whiteboard and the sticky notes, they've created different basic starting points for those. So doing a SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. That's something that's a standard thing that we do. Things like doing a Kanban board, things like that. Where in the world, kind of cool stuff. So here's some of the recommended templates. What are some of the ideation? I don't like the word brainstorming. There's a reason for that. I use the word idea storming. So how many of you have been in idea storming sessions where you've gone and put those in there? And what was the purpose of those?
Rose, thorn, bud. Yeah.
Which one?
Rose, thorn, bud.
Okay. The rose, so we can search. There we
Yep.
go. Look, we've got one right there.
Ooh, sailboat retrospective. I enjoyed the sailboat.
Do you live the sailboat retrospective? I have a friend that they're friends that they've sold everything and they bought a sailboat and they're sailing up and down the East Coast right now. I'm like, yeah. Okay, so you've got the some graphics in there too, not just the sticky notes. So there are 35 different templates. My friend Leanne, my business partner Leanne, she always likes to do a retrospective at the end of any of her sessions or her training she does. And this is, something that would be nice, we'd have to set it up ahead of time, put the different categories. It'd be nice to be able to do that digitally, especially to your point. We're working remotely now. We're not in there with that whiteboard. I used to call in on conference calls and they're whiteboarding and I'm like, I can't see what they're doing. It was, kind of always felt a little bit left out. So these digital whiteboards give you the opportunity to include everybody and make it more interactive. Now, I used to do customer immersion experience. We'd start playing with the whiteboard and people are very, very creative. They would delete what other people were doing. So the good and the bad thing of the whiteboard is it's an open canvas. I can put something on there, you can delete it. I put a horse picture on, he's going to draw glasses on it. Mustaches on women's photos, things like that.
On that same line, if Sherry types a bunch of stuff and I click Control Z, I will erase her stuff.
Yeah. So there's a understanding of how we work together. Don't touch my stuff, right? All right. So what other methodologies have you used for templates? Anything else you want to search for?
I use it for marketing campaigns, so I'm collaborating with my team. You have the graphic designers, the copywriters, and so on and so forth.
Very cool. So they're work streams. So the comment was that she does, so for the recording, the comment she said was, I work with my marketing team for creating campaigns and so organizing them into work streams. So
Games.
team alignment workshop might be one that would be good for that. So we've got 4 different, we're going to use this template. And I'm going to place it here. And it brings it into focus for us. So these are just starting points. You can edit the titles of those. So this might be, like you said, maybe it's graphics. Sorry. I'm holding and typing. I'm doing a one-handed thing here. No, it's okay. So graphics, let's say channels, marketing channels, right?
Yep,
Messaging, good. I also have small hands. Message, that was not good. Messaging, right? And then what would be the last one? Let's do
Collateral.
collateral. There we go.
Just because I wanted to watch you type it.
Collateral. Oh, now I got caps going on.
Does it have a mind map?
Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
There's
so-
also games.
So let's go look, right? This is one of my favorite responses. I don't know, let's go look. So mind map. So it looks like they've got a gap analysis. I don't think that's what they mean by mind map, unless it's one word. No. That's a specific,
Yeah, it might just be under brainstorm.
Yeah.
yeah,
It might be the brainstorm that you don't use.
yeah.
What about like word clouds? I've done stuff like that where you're kind of collaborating with a team and people are throwing out different words and how they want to.
Like a word cloud kind of thing? Yeah, I think you can add that in as like a poll and gather those as well. But I don't know if, putting those on sticky notes. And then one of the things when I'm creating a new SharePoint environment and we're talking about how people get around, it's like navigation is, user experience? How do you get people to where they need to be? And my brain works different than your brain. It works different than your brain and your brain. So the way I would organize stuff, just ask my husband. He can't find anything because I file things. He's got his piling system. Like, you know, God forbid I move or touch his piles because he has the way he likes his thing. So, you know, kind of gathering, you know, here's the assets or the different things that I would want people to be able to find, and then using that categorization, how cool would that be? Now you're coming up with the navigation of how to get people around your intranet, which isn't HR, IT. I can't stand org chart based intranets. They drive me crazy. Solve my problem. I'm coming here for something, solve my problem. So something like that, being able to ideate that is huge, right?
Would workshops have
Workshops.
have something more mind map-ish?
Let's look. Maybe. This is
Oh,
kind of
that's
a
cool.
big one. Yeah.
That
look
looks
at
like it's taking multiple templates and putting them together.
Yeah. So it's taking I want to call them palettes, but I don't know. That's not what they're widgets. There it goes. Yeah, and like he's saying, it's infinite. You keep scrolling in, scrolling out, and it gives you a really good starting point. And they've got timers on them as well. Do you see that in there?
Oh, you do?
You see it's got here. It gives you time boxes.
Right. And then you would look at that and you'd go up to the top right to the little stopwatch, and you can set a timer for 45 minutes. Hit start, and now you know you've got 45 minutes to do this section.
And it's in everybody's face, right? You can tell, oh, tick, 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 boom. You know, your time is coming out, is running out.
Is that timer an add-in or is it automatically there?
It's just up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one down here is not a functional timer. It's just an icon and a suggestion.
Yeah. So this is the amount of time that we're suggesting for that. So I heard you say it earlier at lunch, time box that. Right. Yeah, that's how we get things done. Otherwise, anybody ever sat in one of those meetings? It's like, for the love of God, is this ever going to end? Because somebody, and usually it's a few notorious people, always drag the meeting out because they just feel like their opinion's the only one. And yeah, it's like you've got 2 minutes to give me what your thing is, and yeah, and they can see it right there. You got 2 minutes. I love that. Cool.
Write your sticky notes now.
Yes, everybody go up there and write them down. And guess what? No trees were killed in the efforts to gather your ideas. So templates, great options, design and research. So they're really, really expanding these. They've got the game that I think they were going to do Jeopardy at one point, like a Jeopardy game. No, looks
Two
like
truths and a
True
lie,
Truths
where in
and
the world?
a Lie. That's pretty funny, actually. If you've ever played that with somebody, a group of people that you think you know somebody. Yeah, fun stuff. All right, so anybody use templates? And how do you use them? How do you want to inspire each other? Nobody? You're like, no, that's why I'm here, because I've never used templates. Okay. Yeah. Wireframing? Yeah. Yeah, for like setting up a website or the things that you want. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So
for
that might
for
be-
wireframing in Whiteboard, I use Freeform for that so that I can kind of draw it on, and then if I have images that make sense, I can put the images into my wireframe. But for the most part, for wireframing specifically, as a developer, I do a lot of that between like Power Automate. I'm wireframing out. I'm diagramming out my flows by freehand, or on the SharePoint pages, I'm freeforming it, and I'll just put a big box and say hero web part, but put a big column over on this side for the news or the what are the contacts, news, recent documents. So I wireframe by hand personally on Whiteboard.
So I was working on a project where we were writing courseware for Microsoft Office for high school students. And we had they wanted every one of them to have an activity included in that. And this was prior to the pandemic, which is great because you're like, let's play 4 corners. This corner is this, themes for different corners, and run to that corner and put your ideas on the wall or whatever that was. We just did that at the MCT Summit too. And you can't do that when you're virtual. Think of all these kids that didn't go to school for years, literally years. A couple of years they didn't go in the classroom. How do you keep things interactive? These are great tools for that as well. So the learning categories greatly. Every time I go in here, I'm like, oh, they've added that one. They've added that one. There's new ones in here all the time. So the feedback loop, definitely make sure you add, here's things that, templates I might want to have. Pretty cool. All right. Any questions? Yes.
One of the things I do, and I'm pretty sure it works, is I use the snipping tool,
Mhm.
and you can pop images on from any.
That's how I did all of those images.
Yep.
I had the PowerPoint, and I just snipped it from PowerPoint and pasted it in here.
So, so the comment was that, sorry, I just want to make sure that they have it for the recording. The comment was that using the snipping tool to capture any piece of a screen to be able to add it in there. Yeah, and mark that up. One of the CIEs I used to do, it was for the healthcare, and we would take an X-ray and put it on there, and the kind of simulating having people from other areas of the country, specialists from different areas of the country, come together and actually mark up and write on an X-ray of how they would do that surgery or whatever that was. And again, that's where I got like smiley faces and mustaches on things every time I got them into that little play mode, but it's fun. But yeah, so what type of things do you snip?
One of the things I do is org charts are messed up in my company, and I have new hires, and I'm trying to give overviews on who does what, and then I can ink over it. And the key thing that I love about this as well, Microsoft used to call it rehydrating. So you can always go back up and pull it back up and add to it and refer to it again. So yeah, I'm a big advocate.
Very cool. Yeah, org management, or org chart management, and yeah, or if you had to reorg, the nonprofit I used to work for used to reorg, I swear, every 6 months. And they would do it on a whiteboard. They're like, here, what would this theme be?
That would be a great one. I think org chart is one of the templates.
It's
and
probably...
That would be great. The place that I work during the day just went through a reorg, and they spent countless days talking about the different options. And I resisted the urge to go bang on them and be like, are you using Whiteboard for this? You can literally just move the sticky notes around wherever you want them.
No trees
No.
were killed. All right.
Change
Any
that A to a L.
Any other best
organization.
kept secrets that you use? Go ahead.
Visio, I have a Visio doc that is just the most used icons that I use in Visio. So if I'm gonna like Visio and Whiteboard, I'll clip an Exchange server and slap it up there, and then I can draw all over it. So instead of drawing on the little box and saying this is this server or that kind of thing.
So for
Right.
designing your network, yeah, you use the icon. Very cool. Love that. Awesome. Well, we've got about
Cool. All right.
11 minutes left.
I still need to answer that other question from earlier. So, all right. So, thank you, Sherry. Okay. So there was a question earlier about can you save a template? And I got all excited when I saw the button. So there's a button right here under templates, my templates, and shared with me. I got super excited about that. I'm like, oh, so I can go in and I can put sticky notes all over the place and save that as a template, and then that will be a new template that people can use. And then I tried it, and I realized, no, that's not what this is. There used to be a copy whiteboard function. And so what I would do is I create my whiteboard presentation, and I would title it whiteboard template or presentation template. And then when I was going to go present it, I would click copy whiteboard, give it a new name, whiteboard presentation for Comms V Next, and copy it again and whiteboard presentation for wherever. That button went away, and I was confused and I was upset. And so what I did for the last time for Salt Lake, I created the template, and then I did a Control A, select all, Control C, copy, open the new whiteboard, Control V, and I was like, this is not right. Then I started playing with my templates, and I realized this is not creating a sticky note template. This is making my entire whiteboard a template. So this is doing the save the whiteboard as a template. So instead of it being like the affinity diagram being the template, it's the entire whiteboard. So education, teachers have probably been using this since the day that that button was presented to them, because that's how you do like your math facts or your lesson plan. But I've got to teach the same lesson in 3 different classes. So you save it as a template, you copy it, you bring back from it. That was a horrible phrase. You use the template to create class 1, class 2, and class 3. And so how that works, you can see here, I saved my intro presentation. You also have the share button, just like in all the other apps now. And so if it's shared with you, it'll be in the shared with me. And so what we'll do, first we're going to stop this timer. Well, we don't have that long, so. And I'm going to give you a little glimpse into the rest of my life here. So I click the home. This is going to show me all my whiteboards. So step 1 is on a new whiteboard. It's going to take a minute to load all the little images. It always pops up and says, how do you want to start? Except when you want it to. It pops up and says, how do you want to start? Do you want to start with a blank template, a blank screen, or do you want to start with one of my wonderful templates? Oh, now it starts with suggest from Copilot. No, I don't want Copilot. Seriously? Well, I mean, but my ink to shape is working too. So,
Can't have it all.
all right, so we'll do it manually. So usually this one pops up. I guess now the Copilot one. It depends on which tenant I'm in.
Oh, okay.
Copilot tenant comes up with Copilot. Non-Copilot tenant comes up with this screen. So if you don't have Copilot, this is what'll pop up. It'll say, do you want to start with a template? And you say, yes, but I want to start with my template. So you select your template, and then you title it, because that's the most important part of your whiteboard.
So you could save a wireframe.
You could. And so,
Like a web page wireframe?
yeah.
You draw it all out?
Let's start here.
Yeah.
So I'll give you just a glimpse into some of the fun things I do with Whiteboard, except that's the wrong whiteboard. So here's my whiteboard. So I made Christmas cards.
Desktop app.
This is the desktop app, yes.
I didn't know if you had it installed, but I.
So I made Christmas cards in Whiteboard. I also made my shirt in Whiteboard. I did this. I saved it as a JPEG or PNG or whatever, and I took it to the mall and said, "Hey, make me a shirt with this on it." See, so I sent this out on Twitter at Christmas last year, I think. But I made it in Whiteboard. My son is taking a game development class or degree, and so we were working here on grid logic. He was trying to figure out. He's like, I know I can go across and I know I can go down, but how do I get all the other ones? And so we walked through the logic in here. You can see up here I do word searches at the top, middle. I do word searches in Whiteboard. And like when you get the game ad and it's like, only 2% of the world can solve this puzzle. I'm like, screenshot, Whiteboard, scribble, 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 scribble. I'm 2%. I do my NCAA bracket in Whiteboard. I do work stuff too. But so my favorite thing that I've ever done in Whiteboard, I got the Lego puzzle. And you know the Lego pieces, the little yellow faces, right? It's just a little piece. It was a 1,500 or 2,000 piece puzzle. And it was just rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of the little yellow faces. So it's the Lego faces puzzle. And it came with a poster that was like life size, actual size. And so you can do this with the thing. But I'm like, okay, but I'm like doing this and trying to get magnifying glass out. Took a picture of it on my phone and zoomed in. And I'm like, well, this is dumb. How about if I take a picture of it, I drop it into Whiteboard. Now I can zoom as much as I want. And then as I found the right ones and put them in the puzzle, I marked them off on Whiteboard. And so I knew which ones I had done and which ones I hadn't done. That's the best way to do a 2,000 piece puzzle. So, all right, well, check this out. We have 19% of the battery left, so we did a really good time. Any questions, comments, rude remarks?
Main reason I'm here,
Okay.
what's going on with link unification? It seems to disappear and come back. Well, like I reimage my Surface Hub in the old version of Whiteboard, I can write hello, lasso it, and it makes that ink look nice and neat. Like it's
Right.
actually a normal handwriting.
Last
And then it goes
Wednesday, Ink to Shape was working. Friday, when I tried to present it, it wasn't working.
Right.
An hour ago, when I was testing it, so I would know whether or not how to answer myself when I tried to show it to you guys, it was not working. And then when I went to present it, it was.
Yeah.
So,
Ink unification, I don't know why they keep taking it away.
right.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big deal, and that was one of their original requirements. So I don't know, just because I'm an MVP does not mean I know the answer to your question. I am speculating my answer. I'm guessing that they are working on a new version of it that they're going to use in all of the apps, because it's the same inking tools across this and OneNote and PowerPoint, I think, has some of it. And I'm guessing that they're coming out with a new version of it.
Is there a roadmap? Is there a whiteboard roadmap?
I mean,
Whiteboard on a roadmap?
there is.
Yeah, look there.
There also is on Tech Community. Is that the one that has Whiteboard now?
User voice.
Or user?
The old user.
Yeah, the old user voice. There was a Whiteboard user voice. And so Ian is the product manager for most of Whiteboard. And I know he has been very active, and his team has been very active, or was very active on the user voice. I assume that they are still as well. But the guy who did the keynote, Ron, he's in charge of all of them. So ping him on LinkedIn and ask him that question. Yeah. So cool. And I will, so obviously there's no PowerPoint slide, but what I will do is I will export this whiteboard as an image file and post that up where the slides go, so that you can refer back to it as much as you would like. Cool. Anything else? Anything else? That's all, folks.
Do you do Whiteboard much with the Surface Hub?
I would love to, but Microsoft keeps telling me no when I ask for a free one.
That seems to have gotten a lot worse with the new version.
Oh, yeah?
They're making Surface Hub an FTR essentially. If you want to just do all you want to do is walk up to it and do Whiteboard, it starts a Teams meeting.
Oh,
And that-
jeez.
And then if you walk away from your whiteboard, it says, no one's in the meeting, no one else has joined, I'm closing the meeting.
That's funny.
And, yeah.
So, I mean, annoying.
Well, can you just add the whiteboard to the meeting and on the tab in the Teams
Yeah, but
meeting?
it makes you do an actual Teams meeting to do,
Wow.
Oh, even if you just want to use it.
even if you just wanted to stand by yourself.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's because a lot of people don't know PowerPoint. If you press the B button, it turns the screen black. If you do white, W, it turns it white. And then if you can draw on where you're projecting, then you can save that. You can save the inking in PowerPoint if you draw things on the screen. And Surface Hub's really good for that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
When they do PowerPoint, it's
Yeah.
now just whatever's built into Teams. It's not-
But you don't have all the features of whiteboard. It's just drawing, right?
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, have a good next session.